All right, we've been monitoring this for you. Internet service is slowly but surely coming back for some 50-plus sites, from airlines to major financial institutions that were completely frozen or virtually inaccessible, so slow once you got on the site that it was just like you couldn't get on the site. But that is slowly coming back, as is right now, for the time being, some 911 service back in some Virginia localities. Again, we're hearing reports that all emanated from a cut line. I've not gotten any confirmation of that. Be that as it may, at least in Virginia, parts of Maryland separately. I haven't heard about Maryland sites coming back, but a lot of Virginia localities are indeed coming back. Now, they said earlier on that this was a multi-state kind of a failure here in the part of the 911 system. But again, I'm only focusing on the news I'm hearing out of Virginia, which seemed to localize it to just Virginia counties, and they too are starting to come back. No indications as to whether these events are at all connected, but they're all happening at the same time. The president is meeting with top labor and business leaders on infrastructure spending. It's a good point to pick up with Congressman Dan Meuser, the beautiful state of Pennsylvania. Congressman, I'm wondering, will that package that you know of, however the final details come out, include this sort of stuff? Protecting the internet and making them secure, safe, not so vulnerable to attacks, whether accidental or deliberate?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where the money should be focused, right? Certainly on hard infrastructure, but broadband, rural broadband, all kinds of revitalization efforts. But this is where the money should be spent. You know, Neil, I mean, we spent $3.7 trillion last year to get into the recovery and provide relief and find a vaccine. Another $1.9 trillion spent at the beginning of this year, completely single party, partisan Democrat vote. So well over $5 trillion of new debt has been created for the U.S. citizens. Now we've got an infrastructure bill, a real one, $1.2 trillion that I want to be supportive, that I think will pass once we get the details ironed out. And meanwhile, this new Democrat Party is going to jeopardize the whole thing by announcing a Bernie Sanders $3.5 trillion, the most historically massive expenditure in the United States history. I don't know what they're thinking. We got inflation. We got all kinds of other issues. It's just very, very irresponsible, to say the least.
Could you clear something up for me as well, Congressman, that I separately had heard that Chuck Schumer wants something on immigration, do something about DACA, the dependents of foreigners who came here, who through no fault of their own now are in this sort of immigration limbo. Was he talking about including that in the infrastructure-only package, the $3.5 trillion package? Because I could imagine Republicans looking at that saying, well, it certainly has nothing to do with infrastructure only. So where and what was he talking about?
Well, it's in the reconciliation plan, which, by the way, the parliamentarian will likely pull out, because that's not part of what reconciliation should be, just like when they pulled out the $15 minimum wage increase. So it probably won't go anywhere. But you know, the shame of it is the other one of the other problems we have, a huge problem, is the border. I mean, this creates an incentive, right? The idea of amnesty for more of a rush on our border. And look, the DACA situation should be corrected. I think Republicans and Democrats can get together on that, but we got to have border security first, and that's what the American people want: border security, then deal with the Dreamers Act. Makes sense.
All right, and infrastructure
separately
first. Right now, if you're going to tee up something, that's something you're very, very close to, and let's see what happens there. Congressman Meuser, thank you very much, sir. Good catching up with you.
You too, Neil. Thanks.